Hello AOS fans, it's me, Pete, and I'm here to give you another deck review, and this week it's Magore. Poor Magore, he's not done so well of late. I've tried two different offensive decks with him, and he got pasted against Oryx, and he had a frustrating time against the Fast Riders. So, what am I going to do? Well, nothing. I'm pretty much taking the same deck I took against the Oryx because I don't think the deck was the problem there, the dice just hated me. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about and you haven't seen that battle, click in the links below and just be prepared to weep salty tears for corn. But anyway, I'm taking this deck again and it's up against the Stormcast. Now, Robin likes his Stormcast, he likes some offensive Stormcasty peoples, and I think Magore is the man to take Severin's head. And this is the deck I hope to do it with. So there's no subtlety here. I'm Magore, I'm Khorne, I'm going for blood and skulls, and this is how I intend to do it. Starting with my objectives. I've got no escape, which is charge with 3 people. Pretty simple one, and it's a score immediately. I like that a lot. Extra glory early on could be very handy. Next one is show of strength, which is score immediately again if my leader takes someone out of action. Now Magore is hopefully going to be chopping off heads left, right and centre, so this will be another additional glory which will be useful. I've then got advancing strike, which is basically kill somebody in the enemy's territory. Again, I'm hoping to get across the field and chop off heads, so another glory mid-turn will be very handy for me. But they've then also gone for Alone in the Darkness, and I'm sure everyone's sitting there going, but you want to be getting toe-to-toe, why have you taken Alone in the Darkness? Well, if I'm doing badly, and I really need some glory, and the way to get that glory is to walk away a little bit, then maybe that's something I'm going to have to do. I do have great concussion. If I've got that and I'm doing poorly, this will help me spread people out a bit. I've then got victory after victory, which is scoring an end phase if I score 3 or more objectives. Well, I've got about 4 or 5 instant scores in this deck, so I'm hoping that that should be fairly easy to achieve, and if I do, that's 2 more glory. The next one is defensive strike. Whilst I am going after Robin, if he's going Stormcast and he's probably going offensive, then he's going to be coming after me too, so there'll be someone hopefully in my half who I can kill, and it's another instant score. I've then got some of the old favourites. I've got Escalation, which is get 3 upgrades, Master of War, which is ploy upgrade and an objective, and I've got Ploy Master, which is 3 ploys. These are nearly always in my hand. I've then got Master Stroke, which is score immediately if an enemy fighter is taken out of action by an attack made as a reaction or as a reaction made by my warband that causes damage. Now 2 of my guys do reactionary attacks, and I'm hoping that this might actually come out. I've then got Superior Tactician, which is a score in the 3rd end phase card if I'd scored 6 or more other objectives. Well, I've got 4 instant scores. I've got some easy ones like Escalation, Master of War and Ploy Master. I'm really hoping that this one should be a fairly easy one to get, especially if I can get victory after victory. That would have mean I've already scored 3, and that one as well means I've scored 4, so Superior Tactician shouldn't be that much of a great leap thereafter. And the last one is Swift Advance, which is score if all of my surviving fighters are in an enemy territory at the end of that phase. I'm going after Robin, I'm going to chop off some heads, so hopefully I'm going to be all up in his space. So those are my objectives. They're going to rack me up some glorious glory that I can use to buy some beautiful little upgrades. And what little upgrades have I got, I hear you cry? Well, these are them. My first one is a Furious Charge, which is a specific one for Zarkus, and it means that he rolls hammers and swords when he makes a charge action. Nothing wrong with that. He only rolls a couple of dice, so the more chances of success I can get, the better, as if he gets a successful attack off, he will inspire. The next one is Rage Fueled Attacks, which means it's Zarkus only again, and it does +1 damage on any of his attack actions, whether it's a charge or just a straightforward stabby stab. After that, I've got Trophy Hunter. This one's specific to Magore, and if he kills somebody, I gain an extra glory. Garrick has a very similar one, and I'm hoping that Magore's going to go around chopping off lots of heads, so that'll be a lot of extra glory on my plate. Especially as I'm Stormcast, there's only 3 of them, so that could net me 3 extra glory. After that is Wrathful Blows. This one is for Gartok, and it means that all of his attacks have 1 extra dice. More dice, more chance of success. More successes means more inspirations. I've then got Awakened Weapon. I can reroll 1 of my attack dice. The more dice I can reroll, the more chances of success I get. Again, the more chance I have of inspiring someone, and that can go on nearly anybody. I've then gone for the 3 greats: Great Fortitude, Great Speed and Great Strength. Extra wounds, extra speed and extra strength for damage are all pluses in my book, and they're all ones I want to use. I then got Helpful Whispers, which means if the fighter has no adjacent friendly fighters, then single assists are also successes. Again, more chances of success means more chances of inspiring. I've then also gone for Incredible Strength. Another +1 damage on top of great strength means that Magore could be kicking out 5 damage. It's a pretty juicy card, although I might even think about putting it on the dog because more damage, even better. I've then gone for Concealed Weapon. On a critical hit, the fighter's attack action does +2 damage. If I put that on Magore, if I get the other strength bonuses on him well, he could be doing 7 damage. That's mental! That will one-shot anybody, anywhere, anytime. But this is probably going to go on the dog. Now, it's strange to put it on the dog because what's he concealing? But the only things that that fighter cannot use are upgrades, which are attack actions, and this isn't an attack action. Concealed Weapon is just do +2 damage if you have a crit. So that could really be useful on the dog. And the last one is Soul Trap. My guys don't come back like the Sepulchral Guard and the Skaven, and that throws me a bit. Soul Trap I like because you put it on somebody and it just makes them slightly less of a target. Your opponent sits there and just doesn't want to try and commit to something that they don't think is possibly going to work. So it's a nice little distraction. So those are all my upgrades. So in order to get those upgrades, to score those objectives, to get the glorious glory, I'm going to have some sneaky ploys. And what are my sneaky ploys? Well, I'll tell you. The first one is Demonic Resilience. If Robin buffs one of his guys up to do a massive amount of damage in the next phase, then I can play this, and it doesn't matter how much damage he does, I'll only take 1. That's a winner in my book. I've then got Fountains of Gore, which is play after an attack action or ploy that takes a fighter out of action, and all friendly fighters have +1 defense in the next activation. So the chances are I would use this to kill someone, and then in my next activation I get +1 defense dice on everybody, which is handy because they only have 1 normally. Next card is Glory to Khorne, which is roll 1 extra attack dice for the first attack made by a friendly fighter in the next activation. This is handy because more dice, more chances of success, more chances of inspiration again. And then to the Victor the Spoils. This one is why I have a 24 card hand. If I can take someone out of action that has 3 wounds, then I draw 3 power cards. Now, this is pretty much nearly always going to be in my deck because in every warband you come up against, there's at least one person with 3 wounds, possibly more, and you're nearly always going headhunting to go kill everybody anyway. The ability to draw 3 extra cards and have loads of extra cards in your hand, which could possibly mean loads of extra spare ploys knocking around, is invaluable. I've then got Distraction. If Robin does want to run away from me for whatever reason, or if he's just running the wrong way and he's going to one of my flanks, I can use this to hopefully either push one of his guys closer to me, or if he has someone that's gone into a bit of a god mode, then I can use this to push them back a little bit just to keep them out of swinging range. Jewel of Wits next. Nearly always one's going to go in my hand. If I can get that and to the Victor the Spores off at the same time, that's an extra 5 cards in my hand. I could be holding nearly half of my deck after just playing a couple of cards. That would be pretty massive. I've then got Great Concussion. I think you always need a Great Concussion or an Earthquake or something like that in your deck. The ability to move everybody, regardless of who you're going up against, is useful, especially if I'm going up against someone who's going to have a load of objectives in their hand. Then I've got Healing Potion. Again, my guys don't come back from the dead once they're dedorated, and I don't like that, so I'd like them to not be dedorated if at all possible. I've then got My Turn, which is play after an attack action or ploy that damages a friendly fighter and pushes them back. I can push them 1 hex and I can make an attack action with them. This is a reaction which might help me with Master Stroke as well, and it means that if I'm in a situation where Robin does actually manage to hit me, knock me back and not kill me, I can use this to step up and get an extra swing in, which is always useful. I've then got Quick Thinker. This one may be less useful for me, only because I can only move somebody who hasn't already moved that turn, but it could be handy if I get it early on because I can move somebody up the minute Robin moves, either to support one of my guys or not, or just move somebody up ready to swing in the next turn, and then it saves them from having charged. I can just keep swinging with them if they're in the right place. I then got Ready for Action. Lovely card to have if you can play an upgrade, a free move, or free attack action. That to me is always handy, especially against Khorne where I want to be doing as many attacks as possible. And the last card I've got is Sidestep. I don't know if I have enough manoeuvrability cards in this hand for my Khorne guys because they're not the fastest, but this will help me. I can really use a card that gives me extra movement. As Robin said way back in the day, a free move is a good move, and this is always a good card and nearly always comes up in my decks. So that is it. That is my deck again. It's pretty much unchanged from when I faced the Oral Oryx, but I'm hoping it might fare a little bit more and the Dice Gods might smile upon me this time. I think this deck is good. I think it has everything it needs in it. I've got lots of plus damage, I've got lots of plus dice, reroll dice cards, and all of my objectives are mostly stab, kill, and maim and destroy, with a few extra little ones in there just to help me hopefully grab a few extra glory on the way without having to try and kill people. So that's it. That is my deck. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, if you think there are any objectives I should be taking or shouldn't be taking, if there are any ploys that you think I'm wasting my time on, or any upgrades that I'm missing, do let me know. I know that taking the dog with all of his extra powers is a viable tactic. I did try it in my last game, although I didn't get the cards out that I needed to be able to try and pull that off. But I do think I will try in the future a Predatory Leap deck of some kind with Bane of Champions. Although I don't think I'd take Predatory Leap, I think I would just take Shadow Step, because that would enable him to move through people even if he's not charging. Who knows? Anyway, that combined with the great strength and the incredible strength could make the dog pretty scary. So let me know what you guys think, and we shall see you soon. Bye!